Now available in paperback and Kindle, All About Marilyn. Learn all about the struggles of a faded former teen sitcom star in this absolutely fabulous 5-star screenplay. Get All About Marilyn in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com today. A couple of weeks ago, comedian Katt Williams had an interview with Shannon Sharpe where he spilled the tea on many black entertainers from the 90s and the 2000s. And as Katt Williams spilled the tea, making revelations about things going on behind the scenes with many black entertainers, it created a firestorm of controversy in a podcast video that went viral. Now, I haven't made a video on this subject of Katt Williams' interview, and I didn't really feel like I wanted to make one because as someone who has studied the entertainment industry, I was looking at that interview with a lot of indifference. And the reason why I was looking at that interview with all of that indifference, because I was somebody who had studied the entertainment industry, and I knew that many of Katt Williams' so-called shocking revelations were not really shocking to someone who has been studying the business for over 2 decades, because what Katt Williams was presenting was just another day in the sewer known as Hollywood. Now, some were very shocked at the points that Katt Williams made regarding how Steve Harvey was a so-called foul individual, but I already did a live stream with Mr. Chris from Chris and Company where we talked all about Steve Harvey and all of the dirty stuff he did before he became a star. So it really wasn't that shocking to me to hear that Steve Harvey's flat top was fake and a wig, because in Hollywood everybody is fake, and that's all part of the business, because Hollywood is all about creating an image to sell yourself, and what they want to do is create a facade that will sell you and make you appealing to people. And that's what Steve Harvey did when he came to Hollywood. Warner Brothers possibly got him in touch with a publicist, and that publicist basically packaged him as this nice guy, and that's done all the time because Hollywood is in the business of mind control, like Professor Black Truth says. And part of that mind control is manipulating images and manipulating narratives to sell you an image of a person. And that's basically what they did with Steve Harvey as they came out with this Steve Harvey show on the WB, which was something that Katt Williams said was a ripoff of Mark Curry's Hangin' with Mr. Cooper. Now, this is a shock to some people in Hollywood to hear, oh, he basically copied another guy's show, but this is something that's done all the time, and it's done not only by comedians like Steve Harvey, but it's done by people who are a part of the executive producer team, and they'll steal a concept and repackage it in order to package it around a celebrity and make it their product, and that's what they do. That's what they do with guys like Steve Harvey. Yeah, Steve Harvey, they'll make him look like a nice guy, sell him as this concerned teacher in this sitcom, and he won't be anything like that, because the business, again, of Hollywood is mind control and mental manipulation, and what they want to do is sell you on someone and make you believe their narratives regarding him. So Steve Harvey basically, yes, he stole Mark Curry's concept, but this is something that's done all the time, and this is why what you do in these situations is you always register your scripts with the WGA and the United States Copyright Office. And usually when stuff like this is done, people file lawsuits, and they file lawsuits to talk about copyright infringement. So that could have been a case that ABC could have done in Disney, but they just said, okay, this is this is a small budget show, and they just basically brushed it off. And again, they do this all the time in Hollywood. So when I listened to Katt Williams' revelation, it didn't really surprise me because I know how the business works and what they will do if they see a concept that they like is they'll make a knockoff of it. And this was done way back before the Steve Harvey show. I remember Living Single coming out first, and then NBC came out with Friends, and nobody will say that Living Single and Friends are the same show. But if you look at both shows, Living Single is the original and Friends is the knockoff. And when you look at Martin and Seinfeld, there are a lot of similarities. Again, this is done all the time, and a lot of times people skirt the whole copyright thing by saying, hey, we've got different stars, we've got a different premise, we've got a different concept. I mean, this is done all the time, but you have Katt Williams, he'll tell us, oh, Steve Harvey is foul. Well, everybody knew Steve Harvey was foul even before this. I mean, if Mr. Chris, I listened to his stories about him, and I've also read that Cardboard ridiculous book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. I mean, how does a guy who's been divorced 2 times become a relationship expert? I mean, we know that Steve Harvey is foul. So that was something that Katt Williams may have shocked some people on, but it didn't really faze me at all. And the revelation about Cedric the Entertainer allegedly stealing jokes, yeah, that's something that happens also all the time in comedy. I mean, a lot of comedians, this is why they keep their material up here, because they know that the minute they go out here and tell another comedian about a joke they're about to do, that comedian is going to swipe that joke. And that's how serious it is in Hollywood, because what people who aren't a part of the entertainment industry or study it at all don't understand is that the entertainment industry is extremely competitive. It is extremely competitive to the point where it's cutthroat, and people will go out here and go and steal from other people. It's done all the time. So when I listen to Katt Williams and he's sitting there talking about how these people are out here, how Steve Harvey ripped off Mark Curry, well, that's what happens in the business. Same thing with Cedric the Entertainer stealing jokes, as he alleges. I mean, these are things that he is claiming, but this has just been part of the business since the inception of Hollywood. And he's made a lot of, again, claims about different entertainers, but everything he was saying was stuff that's been going on for years, and something I have been seeing going on all throughout the history of Hollywood, because as I've done videos in my series, Historical Hollywood Men and Women in Crisis, or Hollywood Historical Men and Women in Crisis, I have read so many horror stories about Hollywood and how people are done. And I know that it's not a business you want to think you want to get in, because this is, again, a business filled with very ruthless and unethical people. And the reason why they are successful is because they are extremely ruthless, and they will do anything to get what they want, and they will compromise their integrity and their character in order to get ahead. So when I was listening to Katt Williams in that interview, making all of these so-called shocking revelations, they were not that shocking to me. All he was showing me was just another day in Hollywood as related to the business. And what you have to understand is that the business of Hollywood is a dirty business. And if you get in this business, yeah, you're not going to be dealing with people of integrity or character or morals or ethics. No, you're not going to be dealing with ethical or moral people. No, you are going to be dealing with the dregs of society who are all dressed up, and they are no different than a pimp or a hustler, just that they know how to dress themselves up to appear to be this ideal of things. And that's the whole business of Hollywood. It's a very dirty business, and the lies are so intricate and insidious, they basically are like their own language. That's what I encountered when I started doing queries to agents for my screenplay all about Maryland. I ran into a world of people who were just basically, they had turned their lies into a completely different language, and they turned their whole world into this whole world of just completely distorted things. It's not a place for the average, everyday American. And the things you hear from Katt Williams, yes, they are shocking to the average, everyday American. But to a guy who's been studying the entertainment industry, he wasn't saying anything that I didn't really know about this business. And some of the stuff he was saying about the degradation of black men, that stuff I have basically made multiple videos on. I mean, he talked about how a black man basically is been put in these dresses and they try to emasculate a black man. Well, that's what they do in their business, because the media arm of white supremacy, they want to minimize black manhood and minimize black masculinity. They don't want to see an image of a responsible, conscientious, self-aware black man, because as a part of their mind control, they don't want to see a black man at the top of the world. No, they want to see a black man presented as their ideal, which is at the bottom of the world, and they want to humiliate and emasculate a black man and strip him of his manhood. And that's where Katt Williams' whole point about men possibly going through sodomization and humiliation, it rings true, because a lot of these people in Hollywood, again, they are ruthless and cutthroat, and they also have a need for power, especially over heterosexual black men. What they want to do is break those black men, and that's one of the things that they want to see presented on screen, and possibly one of the things that some of them want to see done behind the scenes. They want to see a black man broken down in their media and even behind the scenes, because the only way for that black man to have what is considered success in Hollywood is for that black man to be stripped of his manhood, stripped of his masculinity. This is why we see so many images of black men for the last 30 years wearing dresses or being put in dresses, and then after those men get put in dresses, that's when they get some sort of push. So this humiliation ritual is one that has been going on, and it's one that's been going on for many years, because many of these media arm of white supremacy don't want to see black men as men. They want to strip a black man of his manhood, strip him of his dignity, and they feel that since they had leveraged this power of entertainment and can be a god over men and define your manhood in their entertainment industry, what they want to do is break that black man, and they want to humiliate that black man. And that's what they believe. If that man wants success in their system, he has to sacrifice his intangibles of manhood. That has been a part of the business of Hollywood, is they need to have their power over that black man, because they understand that if this person is going to influence people, then what they want to do is have influence over them, and they want to have influence over them by having control over their bodies and having control over their minds. Again, mind control, because if you can control the black man and make him your puppet, you can get him to do what you want. You control his money, you control his manhood, you control his body, and that's the whole part of what happens to many black male, and I would say even black female entertainers. They all have to participate in these humiliation rituals in order to have success, and they have to participate in these humiliation rituals to be a part of the entertainment industry. And what Katt Williams was presenting in his video was, again, this is something that has been going on for many years in the entertainment industry as related to black entertainers, and this is why many of the black entertainers in the mainstream media have been compromised for many years, and they're compromised because they made this deal with white supremacy in order to get this success. And while some are shocked by this, if you studied the entertainment industry, you would know this goes on as related to these black men being put in dresses, being emasculated, and being demonized and just made into a joke. And it also goes on with black actresses as they have to participate in the casting couch. It's been going on for an extended period of time, and since the inception, and they need this whole thing to go on. So a lot of people thought he was blowing the lid off of Hollywood's black entertainers. No, this is just one generation finding out about what's been going on for years, and it's been going on for an extended period of time. And this, when I found out about it myself, I mean, this was one of the reasons why I walked away from the entire entertainment industry. Again, I was trying to sell my screenplay All About Maryland. Around 2009 or so, I entered in a screenplay contest and was sending out queries. And as I was doing more research on the business, I realized this wasn't the business I wanted to be a part of, because this business, again, is filled with a lot of foul individuals, a lot of treacherous individuals, and these individuals will do anything for a dollar, and they'll even sell their own mother. That's how ruthless they are. I mean, the individuals who run Hollywood, again, they lie like a language, and you can't believe a word that anybody says. That's why anybody smart has an agent, has a lawyer, and has somebody to represent them, because if you don't have a agent, basically nobody's going to want to talk to you, one, and anything that anybody says to you is nothing, because in Hollywood you have to get everything in writing, and you have to get it in writing, because if you don't have it in writing, you don't have anything to confirm anything, because people will tell you anything just to get you out they face. But if you don't have anything in writing, you don't have any protection for yourself. This is why when you submit screenplays, you always register with the WGA and the Copyright Office, and the Copyright Office most importantly, because the Copyright Office is official federal record that you wrote this first with a clear date on it to protect yourself. And you want to have that copyright because, again, that shows that it's your property. You want to protect yourself in this business because you have to understand the main thing about Hollywood is it's a business. And the whole revelations that Katt Williams is making basically are about business, and it's about him making revelations to improve his business. Now, it may look like he's out of the business, but nothing in the business is done without a reason. And these revelations are basically done to be what I believe to be a distraction, because a lot of black folks, we love to get into it about celebrities and not focus on more important things. like the 2024 election, and this distraction gets us talking about celebrities when we should be focused on a black agenda and focused on getting tangibles for ourselves. And while people are making videos about Katt Williams and the entertainment industry and getting into a back and forth about all the dirt done on business that's already been taken care of over 20 years ago, we're not focused on getting business taken care of as related to more important things like getting tangibles such as reparations for slavery, Jim Crow, and past and current ongoing discrimination for ourselves, and we're not focused on developing a black agenda and finding a candidate who will support an anti-black hate crime bill that we desperately need to have in place. We have more important things to focus on than the state of Hollywood, a dying industry that has basically been in a state of decline ever since the Telecom Act of 1996. And I have to wonder with Katt Williams, I mean, yeah, you got a lot of views on Shannon Sharpe's podcast that went viral. However, what are you doing for foundational black Americans? How many foundational black Americans are you giving jobs to? How many foundational black Americans are you putting to work? Critical question I gotta ask Katt Williams, because I mean, yeah, you're great at comedy, but we gotta start empowering the brothers and sisters. So I listened to that whole video with Shannon Sharpe, and again, I came out of it indifferent because again, I've done commentaries on the whole thing about black men in dresses, wrote an entire article on it on Onyx Link in 2010. I've talked about how black men lose their dignity in this entertainment industry. And I've also, again, as somebody who studied this business for over 20 years, I understand how this business is and how dirty a business it is. And I know that they do lots of foul stuff. I mean, you not only have guys who will steal your concepts, steal your screenplays, steal everything. And that's why people who go into this business keep everything close to the vest and they don't reveal anything until product is ready with a contract complete and signed and things are documented and done about material. That's the way the business has been done. And when I look at, again, shady guys like they say, like Katt Williams says Steve Harvey is, and Cedric the Entertainer, and many others, this is the way folks have been operating in Hollywood. And if you want to see how far it goes, I urge you to go watch the movie Sunset Boulevard, where Billy Wilder clearly shows you how bad this business can be and how rough this business can be. Because as I watched Sunset Boulevard, Billy Wilder was telling us how foul Hollywood was, even back in the golden era of the 50s. In the golden era of the 50s, Billy Wilder told us how foul things are. And from all the stuff that I read, again, in the historical men and women in crisis from Hollywood, this is not a town that you go to make an honest living. No, it's a town where you understand you are in a snake pit, and the way to survive is to avoid getting bit by these snakes. And the whole thing is the people who are surviving are the ones who throw other people in front of the cobras and allow them to get poisoned and get the venom and die by losing in life. So that's when I was writing all about Marilyn. I had her agent tell her, get out of this business and get out of this business before it kills you, because you're either going to physically die, or even worse, what's going to happen to you is you're going to spiritually die, because what's going to happen to a lot of folks in Hollywood is they're going to make all of these spiritual compromises. And as they make those spiritual compromises, they wind up becoming a completely different person. It's like what they had in the show Bel Air, where Jazz tells Will, oh, this town can change you. Yes, that town can change you, and you can change into someone that you never thought you could ever become. So when I listen to Katt Williams, yeah, A lot of those things were shocking to those who don't know, but to those of us who do know, we understand we don't want to be in that business because you may make a lot of money, but it'll come at the cost of your soul. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, All About the Goddess. The Goddess Next Door bears all in the art studio to catch a campus stalker in this action-packed Isis series mystery. Get your copy of Isis, All About the Goddess in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Coming to paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Illuminati. The man who rules the world takes on the head of the global elite in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes' Illuminati on Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.